are you now? If you're sitting at your desk, you're in one of the worst possible places to get creative. Why is this particular spot so bad for creativity? It's full of distractions and routines, not an obvious breeding ground for inspiration and innovation. That's why we have our best ideas in the shower or in the pub or doing the ironing. Ideas like to come to us when we're doing something else. But sometimes that approach isn't practical and you need an idea right here, right now. But it is possible to come up with brilliant, shiny new ideas even in the dullest, most routine-ridden environments, or any location for that matter. You just need clever creative thinking techniques. But first, a few preparations. Turn off your email. No, not just on your computer. Turn off your phone, your Twitter account, your Facebook page, your Skype status, and leave them turned off. Spend the first few minutes getting your head into the facts of what you are doing. By reacquainting yourself with the task at hand in the few moments after you've disconnected your distractions, you are priming your mind for real, uninterrupted thinking. With no distractions to flick between and some dedicated time on your project, you can think and visualise clearly. Give your brain a chance to immerse itself rather than yanking it back from its depths by reading unrelated status updates, comments, emails or news items. Sound simple? Try it for 2 hours without cheating. Write an out of office if you're worried about missing something. People will understand your need for creative focus. Tune in and tune out. Put some headphones on. You don't even need to listen to music if you don't want to. The simple act of sitting at your desk with headphones on will prevent people from interrupting you. If you do want music, think hard about what music. Not the same old playlist you've been commuting to, showering to, running to. Try something you haven't heard in a while or a completely new album. Better still, try something you wouldn't normally listen to. Be aware of the calming or energising effects the tunes or lyrics are having and change your track accordingly. If you're distracted by lyrics, choose instrumental tracks. Many people find cafes or coffee shops have suitable auditory ambience for stimulating creative thought, and there's research to back this up. When you can't get out, get there virtually. Go to coffeetivity.com and listen to ready-made coffee shop sounds. Do you write and edit as you go? Do you list ideas and scrap them all after 5 minutes? This is self-defeating and you will be making yourself very aware of your failed attempts. Switch to handwriting, with a pen, without crossing out or editing. This way it's harder to delete or forget early ideas and you can track back to them if some other inspiration appears that can take them forward. Reframe the question. Ask the question or pose the brief in a different way. Ask yourself questions to start the ball rolling, such as who, why, what, where, when, and how. List attributes of the product or problem. Really break it down and simplify it. Look at feelings and emotions triggered and what meanings people attach to it. What assumptions can be challenged? For example, instead of asking, how do we get young people who dislike sport to do more exercise? Ask, what type of exercise doesn't even seem like exercise? Push boundaries. Let an idea come naturally and then imagine it bigger, brighter, louder, upside down, in another town, country or dimension. Don't limit yourself. This can be a quick way to break out of old patterns. Another way to do this is set your problem within the context of a different industry and imagine how that industry, with its different sets of specialists and experts, would tackle it. For example, if it's a customer service issue, think how a utilities company could better tackle it. Or the same problem posed to your favourite restaurant or to the flight attendants on that really scary journey you made. Taking the issue and shining a different context on it can make it come to life in a much more useful way. Take a component or an idea and exaggerate or distort it. What would happen if it was twice as big, fast, expensive? What would we do if we had twice as much time? What if the market was 10 times smaller? Get some perspective. Instead of seeing things from your point of view, borrow someone else's perspective, whether it's another generation, culture, a group of sports or music fans. See how their imagined view of things changes the way you look at the task at hand. If you're brainstorming for your own company or product, you'll likely be too close to it. Try and zoom out, look at the bigger picture. What aren't you including? Can you take an industry-wide approach rather than just looking at your organisation? Make some unrelated links to what you're dealing with. Imagine how your issue or problem would be impacted by a sudden snowstorm. Can you function the same, or do you need to make changes? If you have to handle things differently, you'll be forced to see what your priorities are, and that can help solve your idea rut. Also, try and remove any context to see if it makes you think any differently about things. Creativity flows more freely when you imagine someone else dealing with an issue. Try and think of some personalities or icons to take inspiration from. Be creative with who you choose. What would business Jesus do when faced with your problem? What if you were a superhero and could use super strength, speed, or X-ray vision? Make it a gift. Sometimes we produce our best work or try our hardest when we are making something as a gift for someone. Try and imagine the gratitude and satisfaction experienced by your client or customer when they know they've received something that has been lovingly crafted by your own fair hands. You'll probably be constrained already by the limited time available to have your idea, but it can be beneficial to introduce some other constraints to stimulate creativity. Constraints can also be form-based. For instance, poetry has many constraints. Words should rhyme, sentences should have so many syllables. Or think about Twitter with its inbuilt constraint of 140 characters per tweet. Setting constraints helps to focus thinking, proving that sometimes thinking inside the box can be helpful. Finally, it's often productive to create a mashup of all these techniques to offer a different twist, taking your ideas from one technique and then applying another. Combining existing ideas is one of the most common methods of creating new ideas. As Steve Jobs famously said, creativity is just connecting things. We hope you found some of these suggestions useful and that they contribute to making your desk a more fruitful location for idea generation. Having said all that, these techniques work just as well, if not better, away from your desk. So take them with you.